The movie opens with two lifeguards, Cindy and Brad, in a dark water park, searching for a spot to cozy up before going home. While in the act, they are attacked by an unknown person with a sharp machete and brutally slaughtered into pieces. Sometime later, the freshly graduated students from Valley Hills High arrive at the same water park, which we come to know as Wet Valley Waterpark, to hold their graduation ceremony. Immediately upon arriving, one of the students named Phil starts bullying the members of the high school band named The Blade. The argument quickly gained intensity, prompting Alice, one of the students and organizer of the trip, to intervene. She announces that partying in Wet Valley Waterpark is a tradition and initiates the wild celebration. While the teens are busy doing questionable stuff for teenagers, the band begins setting up their equipment on the stage. They seem genuinely disappointed at the small stage, as they were promised a bigger one. Conrad, the caretaker of the water park, approaches them to introduce himself. As he's talking about the park, we are shown a flashback of it. The pool at the base of the huge water slides, leading to accidents and deaths. Josh, one of the band members, contradicts Conrad's comment of the water park being alive, as he has heard the news about several murders in the area. Conrad denies such rumors and cryptically warns them to be careful. Meanwhile, one of the lifeguards, Priscilla, is hosting a car wash to raise funds that allow graduates to study in Paris. As an erotic show of car wash commences, another worker, Tommy, stomps in to ask about his girlfriend, Kim. Priscilla briskly orders him to leave. We move to Josh, tuning his guitar when the aforementioned lost Kim shows up. It is evident through their awkward conversation that they have some old history. Kim informs him that she works at the park now. After dropping out of Valley High, Tommy interrupts their sweet time and orders her to follow him as he's hungry. Later, some idiots, while coming down the water slides with alcohol, get into an accident in the pool. The ambulance arrives for medical support and Paul, Priscilla's husband, offers the medics free passes to the park to shut them up about the accidents. He further asks Conrad to not drain the pool and clean up the mess quickly. On the other side of the water park, Alice is chilling with Slim and Chad, the other two clearly less important members of the band. They notice Priscilla walking by and comment about how attractive she is. Phil, the douche from earlier, informs that she was an alumnus. Slim further discloses that she chooses one guy each year to have sex with. Slim tries to approach her, but she receives a call before he could talk. The person on the other end is revealed to be Josh's dad, Michael, who is seen to be listening to Josh's voicemail in an earlier scene. Josh has asked him to come to his graduation ceremony and further informs him about his plans for the weekend. Priscilla and Michael plan to meet up for dinner. Later, while Alice is in her room doing coke, she receives a call from Paul, who informs her of the accident. It is apparent from their conversation that Paul is involved in an affair with the teen. The scene quickly shifts to Josh and his bandmates. As they see Tommy and Kim pass, Slim and Chad ask Tommy to help them with their equipment for sound check. Tommy initially refuses to help them but complies eventually. The moment the three leave, Josh kisses Kim. Kim comments that Tommy would kill them if he finds out, to which Josh replies that he would kill him first. Teenage cringe fest at its finest. While on one hand Josh and Kim are having a sweet moment, his dad is also playing his game with Priscilla. Although Priscilla notices Michael's condescending attitude towards the waiter, she chooses to be silent. Michael, with no sense of decency, proceeds to eat his lobster disgustingly. He compliments Priscilla, which she returns sultrily. In the water park, Conrad asks Tommy about Kim and laughs at him when he states that he always knows where she is. Well, it turns out he doesn't know where she is, as we see Kim and Josh having an intimate moment in the shower. Along with all the sexual drama, the other students are having a wild party filled with paints and fluorescents, courtesy of Alice's illegal relationship with Paul. While the party is on full blast, Alice introduces the Blade for their special performance. Josh and Kim have returned from their secret rendezvous, pretending to have been in separate places. While the Blade starts their concert, Phil shares Josh and Kim's sex tape, which he has secretly filmed. Upon discovering the sex tape, Tommy rushes to the stage to punch Josh. The one-sided brawl becomes so violent that the other workers intervene. Psycho Tommy is fired. While the cheating drama among the teens reaches its epitome, Priscilla also discovers Paul's affair with Alice. Paul condemns her by mentioning her dinner date with Michael. Her anger makes her grab Slim and leave. Meanwhile, Chad, whose name is butchered throughout the entire movie, is helping Josh to his room when Michael shows up. Josh and his dad engage in a heated conversation. Michael arrogantly asks if Josh wants the water park as he's planning to buy it. Alice overhears the conversation and rushes to inform Paul, who's insanely drunk. He doesn't take Alice seriously and accuses her of being too high. The drunk man accusing the high teen is a sight to behold. They do not reach any coherent conclusion to their argument, prompting Alice to leave angrily. We follow Chad, relaxing in the bathtub, but his relaxation is cut short when Kim barges into his room to hide. Kim admits to not remembering Chad. Makes sense because nobody even remembers his name to begin with. Josh arrives at his room when he's comforting her. Josh and Kim leave his room to hide somewhere together. That night, we see a figure tampering with the slides by slashing the underside to insert 2 sharp blades in an X form. The next morning, while Michael is investigating the water park before purchase, a random figure attacks him. No amount of plea or bargain saves him from his eventual fate. He's gruesomely shot. He still manages to escape, but finds the closet with the parts of the lifeguards from the beginning of the movie. Ultimately, he's killed, just like them. In an unrelated scene, we see a kid with an injured foot playing with the sand at the water park. Although he complains about his injury, his mother seems to pay no attention. While playing, he uncovers a portable music player. Later that day, the students get ready to join the annual competition called Sea Snake. Although Conrad discovers some blood on the ground, he chooses to ignore it and continue with the competition. Paul, on the other hand, who was searching for the lifeguards from the initial scene, finds Priscilla getting down and dirty with Slim. Cursing at her, he asks her to finish and get down to business. While the registered teams are preparing for the competition, Psycho Tommy arrives unannounced. Despite Priscilla's reluctance to include him in the competition, Paul allows it. Well, it turns out his involvement might have saved the students from what's to follow if he wasn't such an untrustworthy, maniacal abuser. Tommy notices the water leaking from the slides and realizes that it has been tampered with. He hurries to stop the competition, but is met with futile restraints. In the end, Sea Snake begins, nonetheless, and what ensues is a lot of blood and guts. Paul and Priscilla are the MCs of the competition. Paul explains the game. On 3 identical slides, teams of 3 members will race against the clock. The fastest team wins $500. As Alice's team and Josh's team prepare to race, Tommy intervenes again and claims that he has noticed the holes in the slide. He reminds them that it has been 35 years since the murders in Wet Valley. As expected, no one believes him and Sea Snake finally commences, and so do the murders. Whilst Josh's teams and the other team with the Goths make it down to the pool safely, Alice's team was the unfortunate one to get the slide with the blades. Their bodies are slashed by the blades, the water draining the severed body parts and blood into the pool. Chaos befalls, and the kid from earlier is seen to smirk at the horrid scene. Conrad, who is by the pool, notices the slaughter and tries to contact Priscilla. Concurrently, Priscilla's transceiver starts malfunctioning, resulting in a miscommunication. Unaware of the disaster, the husband and wife duo continue the competition. Although Tommy tries to stop the competition yet again, the other students push him down the slide. Unfortunately, it was the slide with the blades. When one of the students gets scared to join the competition, Priscilla urges her husband to complete the team. Meanwhile, Josh climbs up the side of the slide to caution the other students. Noticing Paul down the slide, he struggles to pull him out of it but fails. At the pool, shaken to death, Conrad struggles to find someone to turn off the water. He yells at Kim to do the job. As she goes to turn it off, she falls face first over Michael's body, whose mouth is stuffed with money. She screams. Josh and Conrad dart towards the platform to warn the students. The students, who are as high as a kite, pay no heed to them both. Instead, they push them down the slides too. The entire pool is painted crimson with the remains of the students. A telecom announces the news of the massacre as the pool bleeds red. In a later scene, Josh and Kim are in a conversation with a lawyer, who informs Josh that his father has left him his entire estate. The lawyer requests him to confirm the last real estate transfer that was left incomplete, which was Wet Valley Water Park. Beside him, Priscilla mumbles words of comfort, but as she looks up, she breaks a triumphant smirk. It is revealed that Priscilla was the mastermind behind the entire incident, showing in a flashback that her father was killed in the water park when she was a teenager. The movie ends with Priscilla smiling at the screen. In a mid-credits scene, The young boy who had found the portable music player earlier surfaces from a bloody pool, reminiscent of a teenage Priscilla.